Are you tired of paying for online leads that never convert?
We've seen so many realtors spend a bunch of money for online leads, but never actually convert them into closings.
In this video, we're gonna break down the 3 keys on how to close more deals from online leads.
Let's dive right in.
All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and start. We're gonna break this down into 3 parts. And so the first part is going to be the offer. So in this market, as you know, you have to differentiate yourself from other realtors. Anybody can sell somebody a house. Anyone can help somebody buy a house. But we're going to talk about the offer and putting that into your advertising to differentiate yourself.
Yeah, and that's something I think not a lot of real estate agents really focus on is, what's your value proposition? Like, what's your offer? Like, offers are huge in any business. Like, we spend so much time cultivating our offer, testing different offers.
For sure.
And as a real estate agent, you also need to be doing the same thing. Like, what is going to be pulling your ideal clients in and make them take action?
Right, exactly. That's the most important part is like what you want to create a sense of like scarcity and FOMO, like fear of missing out for the lead. Like you have like some type of like discount or sale or something. It kind of looks different for each offer. But it's important that you create an offer that makes a lead take action then.
Yeah,
that they're scared to miss out.
That could be some sort of lead magnet, some sort of thing that they're going to get for free.
For sure.
And then from there, you open the conversation and then you talk about yourself. And then you start that sales process of why you feel like you can help them the best. But for the first interaction, you really have to work on an offer. One of the best ones I think I've seen for real estate is like, we guarantee we'll sell your home, or we'll cut our commission check in half.
I've even seen someone who, like, if you bought a home with them, they would give you like a free cruise for 2 people. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and there's so many things you can do and things that you can get creative with. And when it comes to referrals, you maybe don't have to put much thought into it, but when it comes to having a scalable business and starting to market and lead generate and things like that, you have to consider and test and build offers.
Yeah, it's the same thing. You think about Walmart, they always have deals going on, you know? And so it's the same type of business. They have one of the biggest businesses in the world, and they still run discounts. They still have offers that they run every single day. So if you want to have a scalable business too, like that's something that you might want to consider.
And just look at what other agents are doing in different markets. There's so many, so many different offers that are going on. See what's converting best, and test it for yourself and see what the results are.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, sweet. So let's get into number 2. We're going to be talking about following up with those leads. One
of my favorite quotes along this subject is, there's no bad leads, just bad follow-up. And I think that sometimes, not that that's like completely true, but there is a lot of truth in that statement. And so we want to really talk about the follow-up. And we've seen people that have, great leads, but because their follow-up systems aren't dialed in, then they don't get the conversions that they want.
How many agents have we seen that like have gotten leads and just have not followed up?
Yeah, no, it's literally astounding.
Or the opposite, they follow up too much and not strategically, and they burn all their leads.
Yeah, absolutely. You really have to. One of the best like pieces of advice that I could give and what was given to me is like, how would you, if you were the lead, how would you want to be interacted with? How would you want to be talked to? What text messages and emails would you want to receive? What would you interact with? And I think that's sometimes that we have to really take that perception of these leads are actually people on the other side of these phone numbers and emails. And how would you want to be interacted with? And then start from that place and then build out text, email, campaigns or call systems and things around that. And that's something that like just some like quick, like 3 quick tips for like building out your systems. And the follow-up is, first thing you want to prioritize is speed to lead. I watched this training about follow-up, and it's talking about basically like when someone fills out their information on your form or your website or whatever that may be, it is at the top of their mind, like what action they just did. But when you if you call them 2 hours or even an hour later, 30 minutes later, they're dropping off their kids or something like that. They're not in that mindset of what action they just took.
And they may even forgotten.
Yeah, exactly.
That happens all the time.
And so the quicker like the smaller time frame from when a person takes an action to when you contact them, the higher the conversion rate is going to be. So that's the first thing. Make sure you have speed to lead dialed in with texts, emails, and calls. The next thing is with follow-up. Like you said, you kind of said, Keith, like following up strategically,
right?
Not just calling them and be like, hey, you want me to sell your house? Or, hey, you're still looking for a house?
Right.
Be strategic with the follow-up. Like, don't just make it transactional. Also make it valuable for them. So I was on a call with this realtor, and she was saying that she's trained her agents to basically every time that they have a conversation with a lead or a person or a prospect, they always give them some sort of value. So maybe they're an out-of-town buyer and they have kids in that are going to be in the schooling systems. They'll follow up with them, and they'll send them a list of schools and the ratings and things like that. And they're going to over deliver and value before they even hit the closing table.
Right.
And I think that's something that I've always taken from that conversation is like, deliver value first. Like maybe the value isn't just about homes. Maybe it's about the best restaurants in the area. Maybe it's about the best schools. Or maybe it's about the commute times and the work times. Like,
and we were also talking about the market today. Like, there's still a lot of people who are very like uneducated on the market, and a lot of people are scared to buy and stuff like that. So send things that will educate them as well. Yeah. Because that's more valuable than anything.
Absolutely. Education, and all that stuff. And if you overproduce value, overgive value, then leads will end up choosing you. Because the reality is, another thing about advertising and online lead generation, if they're filling out your form on your website, they're probably also filling out multiple different ones on different real estate agents.
Going to Zillow, going to all the platforms.
So who's going to win that? Who's going to win that deal or win that person as a client, as a person that builds the connection with them, that they trust, know, like, and trust the most.
Right.
So if you can build that with them quicker and more effective than someone else, then your business is going to grow.
For sure.
So that's super key. And then another thing is I think a lot of realtors underestimate the amount of touch points that is needed to convert a lead to a client. Studies show now it takes an average of 8 to 13 touch points to convert a person from a lead to a client.
Yeah.
I've spoken with a lot of realtors, and they just like will call twice and then like, oh, they don't want to talk to me, give up.
Right.
That's statistically, that is not what it takes.
Right. And we were just talking the other day, I didn't mean to interrupt, but like we were just talking the other day about like, just because you have to call a lead more than 13 times doesn't make them a bad lead.
Exactly.
They're still good. I mean, mostly they're still good leads. It's just you have to follow up with them, and it has to be the right time, right fit. You know, sometimes it takes you follow up with someone for 20 times, and the 21st time you say the right thing at the right moment, and they call you. I can't tell you how many people like that's happened to us with, you know, like we followed up with them for 6 months, texted them, called them, all that.
Yep.
And like on the 21st call or whatever call it is, it doesn't matter how many calls we have to make, like they still converted, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So that's what matters. Like, you will never want to give up. And you're not going to, if you have the mentality of providing value, you'll never be bugging someone, because all you're wanting to do is provide them value. Do you want them to close ultimately and become a client? Absolutely. But if you're providing value first, then you're not going to be bugging them. You're going to be helping them.
Right.
And so, but you just have to have that expectation. You need at least 8 to 13 touch points. Minimum.
Say it again.
8 to 13, like not 2 calls and one and done. Like you have to stay on top of them.
Yeah.
Because people are busy. It's not personal. A lot of times people just ghost people because they're busy or they forget or things like that.
Yeah.
Stay on top of your database, and your database will convert better. Like, just reality. Yeah.
So speaking of database, this is kind of like the third part we want to get into, is like building up the pipeline. The reality is that most online leads are usually about 6 to 12 months out before purchasing or selling their home. They're just starting their search. They're just thinking about selling. So that you have to kind of keep that in mind.
And because of the real estate sales cycle,
right,
like you have to keep that in mind as a realtor. And then what I've seen a lot of times is most realtors, they give up on lead generation way too soon.
Right.
They try it for 2 months or 6 or 4 months, and they quit before they even see the full return on investment that they've been investing these past 4 months. And the reality is like most of your online lead generation efforts, and all the experts will tell you this, like this is not, you're not trying to advertise to close deals in the next 30 days. Does that happen sometimes? Absolutely. But what you're advertising for and what you're lead generating for is to produce in your income and grow your income for the next 6 to 12 months.
Right.
Because that's when you're going to see the most return out of your investment.
So yeah, like what she was saying, what you invest today is going to pay off 6 to 12 months down the road. And so you have to keep that in mind. Like, we know what other people are doing in 6 months from now, and you're paying for online leads from now until 6 months from now. You'll be taking those checks at the bank while they're still stuck in their place.
Yeah, and online leads, it saves your most valuable asset, which is time. It still takes the same amount of work to convert those leads, to build the rapport, the trust, the relationship.
Right.
But instead of door knocking, cold calling, doing all these manual efforts that take your time, then you're able to scale yourself up, and it's going to save you time. But at the same time, you still have to put in the work as a realtor to have conversations, to follow up. But the reality is that by you building up that pipeline and building up a predictable client acquisition system, you're not having to guess and cross your fingers that a referral comes through and that you can, keep your business afloat for the next, couple months. The reality is by you building up a pipeline, you never are going to have to guess, where's my next closing coming from? What if this deal falls through the crack? What if this deal falls through the crack? Or, you don't know where your next deal is going to come from month to month. By having a predictable system, your business becomes predictable because you've put the systems in place to make it that way.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we've honestly, for agents that have gone all in on the online leads, kind of like what we're talking about, having these systems in place, like we've seen them close like over $300K in
it's
GCI.
Absolutely possible.
It's insane.
Just from Facebook.
Literally.
Facebook ads alone, there's so many realtors that have closed an additional 100 to 300 plus K in GCI just from Facebook ads, having the right systems in place and having the right follow-up in place.
For
so
sure.
we've seen so many other realtors have these great results. So these are possible. You just have to structure it and strategically have these things in place so that way you can get similar results. It's as simple as that.
For sure.
Nobody, one of my favorite quotes that I saw in a video yesterday is the realtors that sell the most homes are not the best realtors, but the best marketers. So they know how to market themselves properly so that they can close the most deals possible.
That's
so,
good.
Become a great marketer, and you'll have more business than you can ever handle.
That's good.
And so that's what we're here to do, is to help you become a great marketer for your business. And if you need help with that, obviously that's what we do as well.
Thanks for checking out this video. If you got some value from it, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
And if you're a hungry realtor that really wants to improve your marketing, sales, or systems, make sure you hit that bell notification so you can be notified when we release new content. Thanks, guys. See y'all soon.
See ya.